There are many things that plague our country on a day-to-day basis: pollution, economical struggles, violence, but nothing is destroying it quite as fast as methamphetamines. Known as meth or ice on the streets, methamphetamines has gone from being used by the biker gangs of the 1970s to being a homemade nationwide epidemic that now infects people from every imaginable background. The meth problem in America is growing at an exponential rate without any signs of slowing down. Methamphetamine can be consumed in several ways: by snorting, smoking, or injecting the drug directly into your veins. When you first use meth, you might feel alert, full of energy, and self-confident. Your brain is releasing dopamine, a chemical associated with feelings of pleasure. Under the influence of meth, people will become agitated and feel wired. Their behavior becomes unpredictable from moment to moment. The user's pupils are dilated and reflexes are faster. Rapid speech often occurs, followed by slurred speech. Extremely high doses may cause rapid or irregular heartbeat, loss of coordination, and even physical collapse. Amphetamine injections create such an increase in blood pressure that strokes, high fevers, and even heart failure may result. Meth is unlike any other recreational drug. It's undeniably the most addictive drug circulating the streets, and even more surprisingly, it can be made by virtually anyone. Most street drugs find their way to our country through drug cartels and smugglers. Meth, on the other hand, can be made in a kitchen, garage, or backyard, with supplies found in most local stores. Meth's key ingredient is pseudoephedrine, which is found in most common cold pills. Other ingredients include paint thinner, battery acid, and acetone, and gasoline. This is one of the reasons that meth usage and its popularity have grown so quickly over the past decade. One measure of the drug's reach, Target, Walmart, and Rite Aid, and other retailers have moved non-prescription cold pills behind the pharmacy counter, where meth cooks have a harder time getting at them. Some states, such as Oregon, have begun to require prescriptions for cold pills in an effort to thwart meth cooking operations. Since the law passed in Oregon in 2006, meth lab busts have dropped from roughly 400 a year to nearly 20. By restricting the sale of critical ingredients, namely pseudoephedrine, small-time meth labs were virtually eliminated from the American landscape. Far from having the expected positive effect, this law enforcement initiative actually opened the door for international manufacturing and distributing cartels. The result is an American landscape flooded with much more meth and of a much greater potency than ever before. And the responsible criminal organizations based overseas are even more untouchable. It's estimated that nearly 200 tons of meth are imported to the United States from Mexico each year. American-based home labs had an estimated potency of about 47%, whereas Mexican meth is closer to 80% potency. According to federal estimates, more than 12 million Americans have tried methamphetamine and 1.5 million are regular users. Meth-making operations have been uncovered in all 50 states. Cops nationwide rank methamphetamine as the #1 drug they battle today. In a survey of 500 law enforcement agencies in 45 states released by the National Association of Counties, 58% said that meth is their biggest drug problem. Meth addicts are pouring into prisons and recovery centers at an ever-increasing rate, and a new generation of meth babies is choking the foster care system. There are close to 15,000 meth-related deaths in the U.S. every year. In 2004, the number of methamphetamine treatment admissions to emergency departments increased to greater than 150,000, representing 8% of all drug-related admissions. In '92, only 5 states reported high admissions of treatments for methamphetamine problems. By 2002, this number increased to nearly 21. From the year 1995 to the year 2005, the number of admissions to treatment in which methamphetamine was the principal drug of abuse increased from 48,000 in '95 to 153 in 2005. The average age of the individuals admitted for treatment was 31 years old. The reason meth usage has been dubbed an epidemic is because of its ability to span all economical, age, racial, and gender boundaries. Relatively cheap compared to other hard drugs, the highly addictive stimulant is hooking more and more people across socioeconomical spectrum. From soccer moms in Illinois to computer geeks in Silicon Valley and factory workers in Georgia, the drug is making its way into suburbs from San Francisco to Chicago to New York. Even Mormon, Utah has a meth problem, where nearly half the women in the Salt Lake City jails have tested positive for the drug. A story I recently read can shed a lot of light on the extent of meth's reach across socioeconomical boundaries. Kimberly Fields was a wife with 2 kids, a college degree, $100,000 job, and a home in an upstate suburb outside Chicago. Then she discovered meth. Since she has been arrested 3 times for shoplifting, most recently, police say, for allegedly stealing over-the-counter cold pills containing pseudoephedrine. By the time the cops came banging on her door with a search warrant, Kimberly, who is now 37 years old, had turned her slice of suburbia into a meth lab. Kimberly looked about 45 pounds thinner than when police first booked her for shoplifting nearly 2 years ago. Her leg bore a neat ankle scar from a chemical burn, and police found ammonia used for cooking meth buried in a converted propane tank in her backyard. The epidemic is destroying lives all over the nation, tearing families apart and killing the youth and future of our nation. The war on drugs is gearing up to fight the battle against meth, but for every local lab shut down, 3 times as much meth is smuggled across the border. No one is safe, not the wealthy, nor the intelligent, because meth recognizes no social boundaries. If we ignore this problem and don't recognize it as potentially one of the largest problems facing America, this epidemic will never slow down.